Parker Griffith, he's from Alabama, and he's a House Democrat, a real solid blue dog Democrat. By that, I don't mean a real solid Democrat. I mean a real solid blue dog. He's never voted for anything that Obama asked for. Pretty much, the right-wingers don't like it because he voted for cash for clunkers. Wow. Voted against the stimulus bill, voted against energy legislation, voted against health care reform, voted against the budget. He voted against every single thing you could put out there except the very broad omnibus bill and cash for clunkers, okay? So on the four main priorities of the Democrats in the Obama administration, he's over, right? So he does something that's very logical. He decides, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and switch over. So he switches over from Democrat to Republican, and he says, that's it, I'm now a Republican. Now that's important because it gives you a sense of the tide, right? Because obviously this guy, and these local politicians have their finger to the wind, and they understand what's happening on the local level a lot of times, certainly in their area, better than we do, right? So his sense of it is, I can't win here as a Democrat. This party's in trouble. I'm going to go over the Republican side. Now, there he is right there. And so that's a bit of a warning sign to the Democrats. And the straw that broke his back was voting for Speaker Pelosi, apparently, to be the Speaker. He couldn't do it. Then which Democrat can you vote for? Anyway, so that's fine. He says, look, I'm a Republican. I voted Republican on almost every major issue, so he's switching over. It's perfectly logical. It's something to get a little worried about, but not a big deal. Okay, so why is this story so interesting? Because of the right-wing reaction. They don't want him. God, they're so wonderfully stupid. The right-wingers are saying, oh, yeah, this guy, he voted for cash for clunkers. You think we want this sellout? Oh, no, thank you. Wonderful. We're going to run a primary against him right away. Right away. Take him out. Okay, get a load of Eric Erickson. He's with Red State, and he says, we can pick this guy off and get a real Republican in that seat. And okay, so you're going to pick him off, and that's fantastic, and I know you're excited about it, but he's on your side now, and he voted with you on every major piece of legislation that came down the road. So why are you going to pick him off? Because they need, you want to talk about purity? These are the guys who need absolute purity. They're looking a gift horse in the mouth here. This guy won as a Democrat. He would win so easily as a Republican. Okay? I mean, that's my analysis of it. I hope he doesn't. I hope a Democrat wins, a real Democrat, a progressive. But my sense of how that politics plays out is he wins in a landslide. If they just take him, but they don't want him. Oh, see, with enemies like this, that's the problem. Barack Obama doesn't need friends. That's why he's dismissive of liberals and progressives and doesn't really, in my opinion, push hard enough for change because he's like, look at my enemies. They're the world's dumbest people. How could I possibly lose to these guys? So with enemies like this, I don't need friends. That's why Obama, I think, to some degree, acts with the impunity that he does. So the Republicans are on a primary against Parker Griffith and try to make sure they find a way to lose that seat. All right, have at it, Hoss. Can't wait for you to screw that up like you did 23rd District in New York, where you hadn't lost since 1872. But Eric Erickson led the charge, and they found a way to lose. So that's what they got, what you can look forward to if you're a Republican in the 5th District of Alabama. They're unreal, man. Okay, and look, I want to say one quick note on primaries. I like primaries. I think it gives you a better sense of who's going to represent the party. On the Democratic side, for example, Specter switched over, right? And I like that Sestak's running against him in a primary. But why do I like that? Because it pulls Specter further to the left, and in my opinion, further to the center, because the center is so far off now in conventional wisdom in Washington, right? But if Specter wins, I'm not upset by that. I mean, look, okay, if Sestak wins, great, that's fine. But if Specter wins, he came to our side, and on some issues, he's now outflanking Sestak on the left. He's against the Afghanistan war, and Sestak's for it, for continuing it. So, look, you have to be reasonable. You could want people to be, if you're a left-winger, more left, if you're a right-winger, more right, etc. I get that idea, but don't kill your chance of winning for no reason. Like, let's say Sestak loses in the primary, right? And then Specter wins. Have him run as a Democrat. Great. Yeah, we take the seat and go home with it. I mean, look, since Specter switched over to being a Democrat. Has he caused any problems on health care like Lieberman has or Nelson, et cetera? No. I'll take that vote, right? So you have to know how to be smart to push for your side without being rigidly ideological and shooting yourself in the foot. If we were the right-wingers, you know what would happen? If Sestak lost in the primaries, he'd run in the general election, make sure they both lose. That's what they did in the 23rd District. With enemies like this, you don't need friends.